I got a message from Anthony Patch regarding an article that was published in the American Journal of Modern Physics. Apparent detection via new telescopes with concave lenses of otherwise invisible terrestrial entities, ITE. It was published by the Thunder Energies Corporation, Florida, USA. Ruggero Maria Santilli is the man behind this, and here's the citation for the article. I'll read you the abstract. Here's what it says, quote, "By using telescopes with concave lenses known as Santilli telescopes, trademark and patent pending by the U.S. publicly traded company Thunder Energies Corporation, we review preceding evidence for the apparent existence of antimatter galaxies, antimatter asteroids, and antimatter cosmic rays. Independently from these astrophysical detections, we present for the first time evidence for the apparent existence of entities in our terrestrial environment that are solely visible via telescopes with concave lenses, while being invisible to our eyes and to conventional Galileo telescopes with convex lenses, which entities leave dark images in the background of digital cameras attached to the Santilli telescopes. These entities are here called invisible terrestrial entities of the first kind, ITE-1 or dark ITE. We then present, also for the first time, evidence for the apparent existence in our terrestrial environment of additional entities that are also visible to telescopes via concave lenses while being invisible to our eyes and to conventional telescopes with convex lenses, which entities leave bright images in the background of digital cameras. These additional entities are here called invisible terrestrial entities of the second kind, ITE-2 or bright ITE. It is pointed out that both types of entities generally move in the night sky over sensitive areas, and their behavior generally suggests unauthorized surveillance. This paper has been motivated by the significance and diversification of the collected evidence as well as available independent confirmations that warrant systematic inspection of the sky over our sensitive civilian, industrial, and military installations via telescopes with concave lenses so as to detect possible unauthorized surveillance. So there you have it. Evidence for entities that aren't seen to the naked eye but can be seen by these telescopes with concave lenses here. But there are pictures here in the article that allege the data that's being found here. Here are a couple of images that were taken of alleged ITE-1 or dark ITEs. This was taken on September 5th, 2015 in the evening sky over Tampa Bay, Florida. And interestingly enough, it says here, quote, "It should be indicated that ITE-1 appear to be located mostly in the areas of terrestrial or lunar orbits. By contrast, ITE-2 are generally located directly over sensitive civilian, industrial, and military installations and appear to behave in a way strongly suggesting their unauthorized surveillance." So again, they're admitting that they seem to be looking at us or watching us somehow, and I find it interesting that these dark ITEs are mostly found in the atmosphere in lunar orbits, but then these bright ITEs are seen much closer to the surface. And I've pointed this out before, but it's worth mentioning again, Ephesians 6:12, the famous passage about how we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against rulers, powers, principalities, so forth. And one of the entities that we fight against is in the Greek, cosmocrators, or ruler of this world. And if you look at the definition that Strong's gave of cosmocrators, it says it's a ruler of this world, that is, of the world as asserting its independence of God, used of the angelic or demonic powers controlling the sublunary world, so the world between the moon and the earth. Very fascinating. And here's another interesting quote. "The historical inconsistencies of negative energies have been resolved for antimatter by the underlying new mathematics specifically constructed for antimatter, known as isodual mathematics, with ensuing novel isoduo theory of antimatter. The above results have been confirmed by a number of independent contributions, which provides a comprehensive list of scientific papers published in referred journals and links to PR web releases in antimatter up to early 2015. It says also the detection of ITE-1 and ITE-2 has been independently verified by colleagues and was disclosed for the first time at an invited lecture delivered at the St. Petersburg Astronomy Club on September 25th, 2015. Now, just a reminder, September 25th, 2015 was when the Pope was in America announcing the 2030 Sustainable Development Plan. But getting back to the St. Petersburg Astronomy Club here, interestingly enough, the logo has a Saturn symbol to it, and it's considered the oldest and largest astronomical organization in the southeastern United States, and so it's out there. This information is being disseminated. Now, the express.co.uk also published about this article yesterday in an article that they titled "The Incredible Pictures Scientists Say Prove Invisible Alien Entities Are Here on Earth," and it kind of goes over Santelli and his sort of credibility or lack thereof in the scientific community. But there's a couple interesting quotes from Dr. Santilli in this article, one of them being, quote, "The question of what those entities are must be answered by our government because these entities appear to be conducting unauthorized surveillance of rather sensitive civil, industrial, and military installations." Now, to those of us who've been looking at UFOs and, the phenomenon for a while, we know that they've hung around nuclear facilities and they've tracked with military pilots and aircrafts and things like that. We've known stuff like that for decades. So for him to suggest that it's the duty of the government to figure out is kind of interesting in itself. But in conjunction with this, CNN reported, "Take a peek into CIA's X-Files." And this was something that's been trending, and the CNN report says, quote, "The truth is out there. The CIA has released hundreds of declassified documents detailing investigations into possible alien life. The Central Intelligence Agency posted documents of reported unidentified flying objects that range in date from the late 1940s to the 1950s. While playing off the hype of the TV show reboot The X-Files, the CIA broke down the cases into two categories. So I think what we're seeing here, obviously, is more indication that disclosure is happening slowly but surely. Add to the mix the comments made by Hillary Clinton, whether she becomes president or not. Some people think she will, some say she's not, but regardless, her comments about how she would disclose the UFO phenomenon if she became president is, of course, another one of those empty promises, perhaps, but ultimately it might all play into this grand deception, this great disclosure that everybody wants to have. Also made a quick video on this topic of the apparent detection via new telescopes with concave lenses of otherwise invisible terrestrial entities, and here was his message. He said, note, the Vatican operates a binocular telescope much like this new one just described here, also known as the Large Binocular Telescope. The Large Binocular Telescope and the similar but smaller version described in this paper leads one to conclude that if the smaller telescope recently is detecting these entities, then so must the larger. Only for a much longer time frame, perhaps several years now. Detection of and the revealing of such entities leads to one very important conclusion. Disclosure, the grand deception. Do not allow yourself to be deceived. Yes, they may in fact be detecting entities. The deception is the coming announcement from the Pope that mankind is now in contact with, quote, our benevolent ancestors from the stars. There will be two types of entities announced by the Pope, just as pointed out in this paper, the good guys and the bad, and things are about to get ugly. The entities labeled good or bad according to the Vatican are demonic entities. Simple. Please note this once again, American Journal of Modern Physics, Special Issue, Issue 2, Foundations of Hadronic Mechanics. Notice the word hadronic, same as the Large Hadron Collider of CERN. These telescopes and the Large Hadron Collider are in collusion. The Large Hadron Collider will open a large interdimensional portal, turning the key to the abyss, releasing vast quantities of these entities into our plane of existence. This is kind of a big deal, guys. I mean, if there's any significance to this research done by Santilli, then we're talking about actual verifiable evidence that there are entities unseen in our skies and all around us. And it reminds me of Isaiah 14:9, where it says, Sheol beneath is stirred up to meet you when you come. It rouses the shades to greet you, all who were leaders of the earth. It raises from their thrones all who were kings of the nations. And why is this significant? Well, you have Sheol, but then you have the mention of the rising of the spirits of the dead. In the King James, it stirreth up the dead for thee. The ESV, it rouses the shades to greet you. But if we dig into the Hebrew here, the spirit of the dead is the word Rephaim. And the Bible often talks about the land of the Rephaim or the valley of the Rephaim. And there's a definite connection between the Rephaim and the Nephilim. And you can find that in Deuteronomy 2, verse 10, 11, also verse 20 and 21, where it talks about the Rephites, who were like the Anakim, the giants. And who were the Anakim? They are the descendants of the Nephilim, Numbers 13:33. So there's a huge tie-in there. And the fact that Isaiah 14 talks about this realm of the dead being stirred up, and having in concert with it the rise of the kings of the earth, of the nations. This all looks like it plays into the beast system in the end times described in Revelation 13. So more dot connections happening, more stuff being pushed into the public eye, preparing the minds of the masses for this grand deception. Is it possible that these dark entities and bright entities are nothing more than Rephaim, spirits of the dead?
I spent 20 years trying to get us ready for this. We used their technology to strengthen our planet. But it won't be enough.
I see them in my dreams. They're coming back.
Today you will once again be fighting for our freedom. Not from tyranny, oppression, or persecution, but from annihilation. And should we win the day, the 4th of July will no longer be known as an American holiday, but as the day when the world declared in one voice, we will not go quietly into the night. We will not vanish without a fight. Fall back! We're going to live on. We're going to survive. Today, we celebrate
That is definitely bigger than the last one.
It seems something happened in September with the detection of these dark entities, and there appears to be evidence that these dark entities are floating around in the skies just above us. I believe a deception is coming. Many people will fall for the deception. I want to point out a few things about this very strange interview with Thunder Energy's CEO Ruggero Santilli, the one who penned his discovery about ITEs just above us in the sky. You'll notice the logo for the company is a lightning bolt. You might have also noticed that the man is wearing a Teutonic cross on his lapel. The Teutonic cross is the universal symbol of the Teutonic Order, which holds its allegiance to the Vatican. To this day, the order still operates and confers knighthood on individuals it deems worthy. Though it is shrouded in mystery, this man is clearly wearing a Teutonic cross on his lapel. Is he showing his allegiance to the Vatican, and why would the Vatican come forward with information in 2016 about the existence of invisible space objects hovering just above us? Is a disclosure coming?
Since the dawn of our civilization, all the way to the time of this breaking news, we humans believed that everything that exists up there is only what we can see with our eyes and with our optical instruments. Well, things have changed now, because we have established the existence of entities existing in our terrestrial environment. And these entities are completely invisible to our eyes as well as to our optical instruments, but are fully visible with new instruments, therefore dramatically enlarging our conception of the perceivable universe, with far-reaching possibility of future development and discoveries that perhaps are beyond our imagination at this time.
The revolutionary Santilli telescope is designed to detect antimatter in deep space. By antimatter, we mean an entity with characteristics that are the exact opposite of ordinary matter, including the index of refraction of light, which is opposite.
Galileo originally conceived and constructed his telescope for discovery in deep space. But as we all know, Galileo telescope is today used for all sorts of terrestrial view. Our telescope had essentially the same fate, because it was originally conceived for the detection of antimatter galaxy way deep into space. However, to our great surprise, we discovered that our telescope can equally detect entities in our terrestrial environment that are completely invisible to our eyes, to our binoculars, or to Galileo telescope, but they are fully visible in cameras attached to our telescope, for which reason we call them invisible terrestrial entities, ITE. We have detected at least two types of ITE. The first type, also called dark ITE, essentially consists of entities leaving a dark image in the background of digital cameras attached to our new telescope. And the second type, called bright ITE, essentially consists of entities leaving this time a bright image in the background of digital camera attached to our telescope, often visible without any enlargement. Our discoveries of invisible terrestrial entities has been independently verified by American astronomers, also according to publications available in the internet. I am a scientist, formerly from MIT, Harvard, and other leading institutions around the world. As such, my duty is that of documenting the existence, quote-unquote, of those entities. The question of what those entities are must be answered by our government, because those entities appear to conduct unauthorized surveillance of rather sensitive civilian, industrial, and military installations.
What we have learned is that reality is much bigger than we originally supposed. Reality consists not only of things that we can see and observe with our eyes and ordinary telescopes, but things that we can't see with our eyes and with ordinary telescopes. But the Santilli telescope allows us to see things that we have never seen before.
Dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. But the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. And when the dragon saw that he was cast unto the earth, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man-child. And to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place, where she is nourished for a time and times, and half a time from the face of the serpent.
I could feel all this death.
Jean, it was just a dream.
Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. And the angel said unto me, Wherefore didst thou marvel? I will tell thee the mystery of the woman and of the beast that carrieth her, which hath the 7 heads and 10 horns. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many.
I've been called many things over many lifetimes. Ra, Krishna, Yahweh.
There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them, the same became mighty men which were of old, men of renown.
Ever since the world found out about mutants, there have been secret societies who see them as some kind of second coming or sign of God. They believe that tens of thousands of years ago, an ancient being was born, the world's first
Mutant. You are all my children. And you're lost. Because you follow blind leaders. But I am here now. I'm here for you.
Wherever this being was, he always had 4 followers he would imbue with power.
Like the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. You got that one from the Bible.
Or the Bible got it from him.
What is it? Oh God. He can control all of us.
Charles!
The world needs the X-Men.
That's why I'm here. To fight.
Not all of us can control our powers.
Then don't. This is war.
And Jesus said unto them, See ye not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down.
Everything they built will fall! And from the ashes of their world, we'll build a better one!
This know also, that in the last days perilous times shall come, for men shall be lovers of their own selves.
I've never felt power like this before.
Jesus saith unto him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh unto the Father, but by me.